Hey Yankees fans, let's dive right into the latest buzz around the team, because there's a lot happening behind the scenes that you need to know. The biggest story right now is all about Cody Bellinger and where he fits in the Yankees' plans for the upcoming season. It has been clear for a while that the negotiations between Bellinger and the Yankees hit a serious roadblock, and honestly, it's starting to look like the team is ready to move on. There were reports suggesting that the Yankees offered Cody a deal in the range of $30 to $32 million per year, but Bellinger is reportedly aiming for a 7-year contract, which is far beyond what the team is willing to commit to. In the eyes of the Yankees front office, 5 years seems like the upper limit for a player with Bellinger's history of highs and lows. Sources close to the team have indicated that the Yankees were hoping to bring him back after a solid season last year. But the impasse over the length and value of the contract has created a situation where they are now considering other options. The team has kept conversations open with outfielder Kyle Tucker and infielder Bo Bichette, signaling that New York is actively exploring alternatives to strengthen their roster without overpaying for Bellinger. What makes this scenario particularly interesting is the timing and strategy behind these moves. The Yankees may be sending a subtle message to Bellinger, showing that they are willing to pivot elsewhere if his demands remain unrealistic, much like the Mets did last year with a high-profile player. Let's break this down a little. Bellinger is versatile. He can cover both corner outfield spots, play first base, and even step into center field if needed. On paper, that makes him an attractive player for any team, and certainly for the Yankees, who value flexibility. But here's the challenge. Bellinger is coming off a roller coaster career with moments of brilliance mixed with stretches of inconsistency. His OPS has fluctuated dramatically over the past few seasons, and for a player asking for upwards of $36 to $37 million per year, there's a real risk involved. The Yankees are cautious, and it makes sense. They don't want to lock up a 7-year deal for a player who has shown a pattern of highs and lows, no matter how talented he is when at his best. Meanwhile, the Yankees' interest in Kyle Tucker seems to be growing more serious with each passing day. Tucker has consistently performed at a high level over the past several seasons and would arguably thrive in Yankee Stadium more than anyone else on the market right now. Even in a so-called down year, Tucker's OPS remains significantly higher than Bellinger's, and his overall consistency and offensive impact make him a prime target. If the Yankees were to commit the same type of premium money to Tucker instead of Bellinger, it might actually be the smarter long-term investment. There's no debating the ceiling Tucker brings. He's capable of hitting 35 to 40 home runs in a single season while maintaining a strong average, which is exactly the kind of production the Yankees need. Adding to the complexity, Cody's market isn't exactly booming right now. Other teams haven't stepped up with the kind of 7-year, high-value deal he reportedly wants, which weakens his negotiating position. If the Yankees officially step away, it could make the rest of the market pause and reassess, potentially reducing what he can command elsewhere. This creates an interesting dynamic. The Yankees have the ability to leverage their interest, or lack thereof, to push Bellinger toward a more realistic agreement, but at the same time, they are not afraid to walk away if the numbers don't add up. The front office seems fully aware that overbidding for him could limit their flexibility to pursue other elite free agents, and that's where Tucker and Bichette come into play as more dependable, long-term solutions. To put it simply, the Yankees are at a crossroads with Bellinger. They respect his talent and versatility, but they also have to be strategic. Paying premium money for a player with unpredictable performance patterns is risky, especially when there's another player of Tucker's caliber available on the market. Bellinger could very well command more than Alex Bregman, who recently signed a 5-year deal worth $175 million with the Cubs, but the difference in consistency and the volatile nature of Bellinger's career make the Yankees hesitant. At the end of the day, if the numbers are too high and the years too long, the Yankees are prepared to pivot and focus on a player who guarantees a steadier return on investment. There's also the psychological side to consider. Bellinger has to decide how badly he wants to stay with the Yankees. If he's unwilling to adjust his expectations, the team has little incentive to continue negotiations at his preferred rate. Conversely, if he truly wants to be in New York, he might reconsider his stance when he sees the team shifting attention toward other elite targets. Meanwhile, fans are left watching a very high-stakes chess match unfold. Will the Yankees double down on Bellinger and try to meet his terms, or will they make the bold move to invest in Tucker and Bichette and let Bellinger walk? The answer to that question will have a massive impact on the team's outlook for the season, both offensively and financially. Adding to the drama, other moves in the league also play a role, with players like Bregman signing elsewhere and other top free agents commanding massive deals. The Yankees have to be strategic in how they allocate their resources. The balance between paying for proven talent and ensuring long-term roster flexibility is delicate, and the front office is clearly weighing every scenario. They don't want to find themselves in a situation where they overspend on a high-risk player and lose the chance to acquire someone with even higher upside. That's why the discussion around Tucker is so compelling. He represents not only elite talent, but also a safer bet over the life of the contract, making him an appealing alternative if Bellinger's demands remain out of reach. This ongoing saga highlights the complexity of modern roster building in Major League Baseball. The Yankees have always been a team that operates with high expectations, and that extends to contract negotiations and talent acquisition. They're balancing short-term performance with long-term planning, and every decision has ripple effects throughout the organization. Bellinger's situation is a perfect case study in this approach. You have an incredibly talented, versatile player, but one whose contract demands and inconsistent production make the decision far from simple. Meanwhile, players like Tucker and Bichette provide clarity and predictability, which is invaluable for a team trying to compete at the highest level while managing payroll effectively. Continuing with the Yankees' offseason strategy, it becomes clear that the front office is thinking beyond just one headline player. They are balancing a delicate act between talent, cost, and long-term stability, and that's why Kyle Tucker has become such a central figure in these discussions. Tucker isn't just another free agent. He's a proven force with a track record of consistent offensive production, and his versatility allows him to fit into multiple roles in the outfield. Unlike Bellinger, whose performance has fluctuated drastically from season to season, Tucker offers a level of predictability that is incredibly valuable for a team like the Yankees. In New York, consistency isn't just desired, it's essential. Every year, expectations are sky high, and having a player who could deliver steady results is worth the investment. One of the key factors working in Tucker's favor is his ability to thrive in hitter-friendly environments, particularly in Yankee Stadium. Historical comparisons show how a player with power and contact ability can see their numbers increase significantly once they adapt to the short porch in right field and the spacious outfield gaps. For example, when Curtis Granderson joined the Yankees, he went from a career high of 30 home runs to multiple 40 home run seasons in pinstripes. Imagine that level of potential applied to Tucker, whose skill set arguably surpasses Granderson's in terms of raw power and consistency. The Yankees see this, and it makes their decision to pivot toward Tucker more compelling. They are not just chasing stats. They are calculating projected output based on stadium factors, lineup construction, and overall team strategy. Meanwhile, Bellinger's situation is becoming increasingly complicated. The market for him is not as strong as one might expect for a player of his talent. Teams are cautious about committing long-term dollars to a player with a volatile track record, and that limits his leverage. Reports suggest that Bellinger is looking for 7 years at a very high annual value, while comparable players like Alex Bregman and Anthony Alonso have recently signed 5-year deals that set a practical precedent for the market. From a purely analytical standpoint, Bellinger's demands are hard to justify, given his OPS fluctuations and the inconsistency that has defined much of his professional career. Even when he's healthy and performing at his best, there's no guarantee that he will sustain it over a multi-year period, which is a significant risk for a franchise that prioritizes long-term roster stability. The Yankees' approach appears to be strategic as much as it is financial. By signaling openness to other players like Tucker and Bichette, they're creating leverage in negotiations. Bellinger knows that the Yankees have alternatives, and that may pressure him to adjust his expectations if he wants to stay in New York. At the same time, The Yankees are exploring these options without fully committing, giving them flexibility to pivot depending on how talks progress. This kind of strategic maneuvering is typical of a team that balances ambition with prudence. The goal is not just to sign big names. It's to maximize value, minimize risk, and ensure that the roster is built for sustained success. Looking at Tucker's profile more closely, his statistical consistency over the past several seasons is remarkable. Even in what some considered a down year, he maintained a high OPS and contributed significantly to his team's offensive output. That kind of reliability is something the Yankees crave, particularly when compared to the peaks and valleys of Bellinger's career. In a league where power hitters are in high demand, Tucker's ability to deliver home runs, extra base hits, and run production consistently is highly attractive. The front office is clearly aware that locking in a player like Tucker provides both immediate impact and long-term upside, making him an ideal target if Bellinger remains outside their financial comfort zone. There's also the broader context of the Yankees' offseason to consider. With other top free agents signing lucrative deals elsewhere, the team has to be judicious about where they allocate resources. Overcommitting to Bellinger could restrict their ability to pursue other elite talent or to make mid-season acquisitions that could push the roster over the top. Tucker, by contrast, represents a safer investment, one that combines high upside with a lower risk profile. If the Yankees commit to him, they're essentially betting on proven consistency while still retaining flexibility to adjust their roster throughout the season. Another factor that cannot be overlooked is Bellinger's versatility versus Tucker's raw offensive ceiling. While Bellinger can fill multiple positions, his inconsistent production undermines the value of that flexibility. Tucker may be slightly less versatile defensively, but his offensive reliability compensates for any limitations in the field. From a strategic standpoint, the Yankees are prioritizing predictable run production over positional flexibility, and that aligns with their broader vision for building a championship-caliber team. In high-stakes environments like New York, the ability to reliably score runs often outweighs positional versatility, and that is why Tucker's profile is so appealing. The potential impact of these moves goes beyond individual performance. Bringing in Tucker could transform the Yankees' lineup in ways that go beyond the box score. His presence in the heart of the batting order adds protection for the team's existing stars, creating more opportunities for run production and shifting pitching strategies for opposing teams. It's not just about his personal statistics. It's about how his addition would elevate the entire team. The Yankees are thinking in terms of synergy, how each player contributes to the collective success rather than focusing solely on individual accolades. Tucker represents a player who can maximize the team's overall output, which is exactly what the Yankees need if they want to contend at the highest level. Meanwhile, Bellinger's situation could still change, but the indicators are pointing toward a pivot by the Yankees. If he truly wants to return, he may need to adjust his expectations. Otherwise, the team seems ready to move forward with a more strategic and predictable acquisition. This approach reflects a modern understanding of roster construction, balancing risk, reward, and long-term sustainability. The Yankees are not just chasing headlines. They are constructing a team built to win consistently while managing financial and performance risks. It's a delicate balancing act, and every decision is calculated with both immediate and future impact in mind. But before we continue, please remember to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support allows us to keep bringing you the latest news about the New York Yankees. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments. The baseball world woke up buzzing with a rumor so loud it felt almost official. Bryce Harper, the game's most polarizing superstar, is being linked to the New York Yankees in what insiders are calling a done deal, even as no formal announcement has surfaced. Around the league, the word circulating in front offices and clubhouses is that Harper in pinstripes is no longer a fantasy, but an imminent reality, the kind of move that reshapes not just a roster, but the balance of power in the sport. According to sources close to the situation, the Yankees have been quietly positioning themselves for a seismic strike, clearing pathways and aligning long-term plans with one singular goal in mind. Harper's name, long whispered in connection with big markets, now echoes loudly in the Bronx. The speculation suggests that both sides see the fit as natural, a generational bat built for a legendary stadium, a star personality matching a franchise that thrives on the spotlight. What makes the rumor even more electrifying is the insistence from several corners that the agreement is already sealed behind closed doors. Executives are said to be speaking in the past tense, players are reacting as if the move is inevitable, and agents around the league are adjusting their own strategies as though Harper's future address is no longer in question. Still, the silence from official channels only fuels the intrigue, leaving fans to read between every line and gesture. If the whispers prove true, Harper's arrival would signal a bold statement of intent. It would be the Yankees reminding everyone that they still hunt the biggest names and are willing to make audacious moves to reclaim center stage. Until pen meets paper in public, this remains speculation. But in baseball, some rumors carry the weight of truth long before confirmation. And this one feels heavy enough to bend the season's narrative before it even fully unfolds. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the New York Yankees, please subscribe to our channel and give us a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.